Alright guys, so I was saying earlier that just to draw your feathers on, and I use the razor tip burner. So this is what I got out of it. It would have took a long time to show you guys this. I mean, I showed you a little bit at the beginning. So all I did was I did a bunch of V's, and then I put some the little dots like lines in it to make it look like the I guess the feathering part. Plus, when we're gonna do the airbrushing, it'll be a different story. We'll see different colors to it. What else? Oh yeah, the eyes. I just burnt them in the nose also, and it's good to go. So this is a big what not to do, and I might have mentioned it before. Not sure. When you're carving, I told you guys I left a piece right there. You can see it. It's attached to the wings to the pole or to the stick, because this is one piece, right? Okay, so the legs. Just always my luck. It broke. So it just twisted off like nothing. I had it in my hand and went pulled up. So when you're carving, make your legs. If you're gonna do one piece like this, and I've done many of these, so they have not all of them break, but this one did. Just make sure you do your legs a little thicker. All right, make sense? This way you won't have that problem. Like these are a little thin, which is fine. I should have known that, but I guess So what I did to not fix it, but I mean make it a little bit more stable, was I drilled a hole through the back into the rocks or into the wood, and then I took some wood glue and I put it on my nail, and you can see right there, little shiny thing. I put it through, so now it's in here. It's gonna dry. We gotta let it dry. I'm gonna put a clamp on it, let it dry for at least, because it's cooler out, so it's not drying as fast. And then the glue dries fairly clear, and even if it doesn't, you're not gonna see it because we're gonna put some paint on it. Okay, guys. So that's where we're at with this. Just little tip from the guy who breaks things. Make your legs thicker, and maybe add, when you're adding a piece to the tail, make it a bit more, or just don't detach the tail at the bottom. Leave it hooked up to the wood. Try to get it in there with one of your bits to go through, so it stays solid. That's probably the biggest problem. Is I tried to go all fancy and get the wing off it. It's a little heavier, so it would end up breaking, falling. As in my dragon, same concept. I only thought of it after I thought, well, it's gonna look great, and again, this is my stuff, so I think it looks great. Same with the dragon. The legs are thick. You can see the tail is attached, not an issue. Mistake number one. This falling on the ground, it'll snap. So I mean, if a customer buys this, and I warn them, like, don't drop it, because if it breaks, the only thing we do is glue it back on, and if it lasts, it lasts. If not, not. My wings should have been folded down here. That's why I should have took these and folded them this way. This way, if it would have dropped, probably a better chance, because I would have had them glued, say, to the sides, and it would have been a better chance. They probably could have snapped up here, but this is more of a risque kind of a thing. But it's art, right? Not everybody uses their walking sticks to go walking around. Some people just like to display them, and what are you gonna do? So this is what's gonna happen. I have to let this dry. When we come back after this commercial, we're gonna work on the rock formation that we're gonna put around the actual stick. That's gonna look like the top here. We're gonna do that all the way down. It's just something that I want to do. The handle, it's looking proportionate for me. I'd like to get it more even, like at the bottom here. Like it's closer to this side. It's way off here. This got to come in more. You know what I mean? It's just personal. Should have made this a little taller. I said to you guys it was about 4.5 feet. I brought my tape measure out just to play with. It's 4 feet. So 4 feet means you're not walking with it with a straight arm. 4 feet means, you know what I mean? Let me show you. 4 feet means that my arm would be down here. I mean, it's still doable to walk with, Plus, there's about, maybe ½ inch of a cap. I would say this would be for a shorter person. Like I'm 5'9", maybe, a little bit over 5 feet. I don't know, somebody. It would work better for them. So the thing about doing my business, when I do my business, when I'm doing my art, I like to think that I'm doing custom work. Meaning, if this was ordered, it'd be different because I'd have to ask you, how tall are you? What's your arm reach length? And then I put that into variation of where I'm gonna go. Like I could have made this thing 8 feet tall, did the same thing all the way down, and then say you as a customer wanted to buy it. Then I could have asked you those questions, and I could have cut it here. The problem with this, I only cut off maybe 5-6 inches because it was rotten, and I didn't want to use that part. Couldn't use it, so I saved it up to here, which was 4 feet. Pardon me. What do we say in French? Shit happens. It does. Anyway, let's let that dry. Come back. Another thing is when I put the epoxy on it, that'll make it more solid too. I should have said that in the first place. After the gluing and all that, when I add my epoxy to this, after it's painted and everything's all nicely pretty done, it will make it more solid because this has a lot of epoxy on it. It has at least 2 layers on it. But again, you can hear that. That's pretty thin, pretty flimsy. So that is not going to save this if it falls and hits the ground. Anyway, I'll be back. All right, guys, we're back. So I didn't like the way that worked out. I mean, not that I didn't like the way it worked out. I told you I put a nail here to go through the wood. Yeah, I went and drilled a hole and put a nail through his tail into this piece. Now you can kind of see it there, I guess. It's between my finger. That'll hold it better. Like this way it's not going to move once it's dry. It's all good. So we're just going to work on it anyway because it's on there and it's drying. So what we're doing is we're going to take our cut saw burr, and we're just going to mimic these kind of stones, okay? So I'm going to bring it down so you guys can see it. I just want to move this out of the way. So it, we have our vacuum attached here to the cyclone, to the shop vac. So it takes more than 90% of the dust, I guess, away. I mean, yeah, I should be wearing a mask, but yeah, whatever. I know it's safety, but I got my goggles. I'll wear those. All right, let's just turn this on and go. That doesn't help. It fell off. There we go. Alright guys, so what we did was we just cut a bunch of grooves in there, make it look like a rock formation. Then what we're going to do is we're going to change our bit, our burr out, and we are going to use, now this idea was from Carbon Fusion, Jordy. He showed all of us on his site. You can check him out, Carbon Fusion. Really good guy. Pain in the ass, but he's a good guy. He showed me to make one of these, which is very simple. It's just like a nut with a couple of washers screwed on couple of flap. These are actually, they're not the paper one though, so they don't. These ones are pretty more rigid. If you were to check out his site, and most of you guys who came from his site has seen his playlist, and he shows you how to use them. He says to use like a paperback one. This was off a belt sander. I had an old belt sander, so I just cut them round and I put them on there. I put like, you know, one in the front, one in the back, one in the front, one in the back, just for whatever shits and giggles. But what I wanted to try today, I mean, we can make another one after this. What I wanted to try today is something different. I wanted to put like cuts. I don't know if I could use this though. It's pretty thick. I wanted to see if I can maybe. No, that's not gonna work. I wanted to tear it up so maybe it would flap around more, better, whatever. But you know what? We're not gonna worry about it. Let's just do this now. Just gotta loosen it with my chuck, and it inserts in there. And you know what? Like he says in his videos, you don't have to go fast with this. Like if you're using a Fordham or a Dremel, I'm using my Fordham. You know, just don't go as fast, and it probably won't. It shouldn't tear up on you. Like I said, these are solid. They're better than the backing. So that's exactly what I want to use on there. Make sure that guy's all the way in because I am having issues. I gotta go buy something that's gonna fix that. So we're gonna set this up. We're gonna clean it up a bit. We're gonna set it up. No, all right, guys. So I found some snippers. Snip, snip, snip. And I cut them in like pie slices. I don't know. Let's see if it works. Get you down there and check it out. All right. So, for the application that I'm using, or for the material I'm using on this, cutting them in a pie shape, you know, little pizza pies, was the right idea. It sanded it out pretty good. I'm going to give it a hand sand, just to get a little bit of the other stuff out that probably I missed, because sometimes this can't get into every little crack and corner, whatever. But otherwise, I'm going to say he did a good job. Yeah. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is we're going to switch back to another bit, and we're just going to, like I said earlier, we got to take a little bit of this down to make it even. I mean, if we didn't, it wouldn't be a big deal, but I noticed it's a little bit too high in some places. And then we'll give it a hand sand, and that will be this video, because after this, we're going to the air gun, and I got a little bit of something different to show you. I'm not going to tell you now, but it was great for me. Maybe not for you, but it was great for me, and I like that. So let me just get set up to get my sandpaper and my other bit on, and we'll be right back. All right. So just took a little quick sand into it by hand. Nothing to really look at. So we're gonna change into, this is the bigger 1/4 inch, I think they are. It's a taper burr, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take down a little bit of the handle. So I'll set you down a bit here and get it. I like it. It's got a good handle to it. You can see it fits the top and the bottom. I got bigger hands, so I'm a small-handed person. So it's a little bit bigger, maybe not as much. So next step is just to basically clean it up, which is just a little bit of sanding. Now this isn't Walmart or Wish.com or Chinese crap. It's not going to be looking perfect. So I don't go to the point where I do to 3,000-4,000 of a sandpaper to get it looking like that. It's got to look rustic. It's got to look old. It's got to look like it's been used, or it's going to get used and not an issue. So yeah, you want to get the bigger chunky looking pieces that make it look kind of odd out. But honestly, I don't. This is art. It's woodworking. It's you know, it's handmade, right? So honestly, when people say to me, well, You know, wouldn't you want to buff that up more and look like this and look like that? Yeah, no. You don't want it, don't buy it. You don't want it, you don't buy it. No. Otherwise, you know what? I got a lot of people that like it. They ask how much. I give them a fair shake what I think it's worth. If they don't like it, they don't buy it, right? That's just the way it works. So, and guys, just, you know, when you're trying to sell your item, you know, don't think that, oh my God, I gotta feel sorry because this Joe Blow can't afford it. I mean, if they can't afford it, they shouldn't be asking. Price it according to what you think. I mean, I'll give you an example. This is not a Mike Stinnett walking stick. You go look at his website, you tell me how much he charges for his sticks. That guy is top notch. He deserves to get what you're going to pay for his stick. You know, my sticks, I'll tell you honestly, I would like $200 for this. You'd go, what? $200 for a stick? You know what? This took me like 2 days, 3 days to make, and I still gotta paint it and epoxy it, and you know, it's just my style. And if that's not what you're willing to pay, don't criticize it. That's all I tell people. I says, you know what? If it's too expensive and you think you can get it at a better price, go find that person, because I don't know who he is. It's me, not you. So I don't argue with people about it. I just say, all right, thanks for coming. And that's all I can do, right? I mean, people come to my house to buy the cottonwood. If they don't like the price and they walk away saying, oh, you know, it was kind of expensive, well, that's on them, not me. I think I have the cheapest prices for cottonwood. Shipping is not my fault. You cannot play with shipping. You're gonna eat that no matter what. The other problem is our borders. Now, I think I might have said it in another video. I did have one of, really, you know, I sent him some stuff before. Honest to God, good man, great man. So, my policy is if the wood, like something like this, once it's sealed and coated, it can go anywhere. They won't stop it. But because of the cottonwood, it's a raw material. They may not let it go by. I said that before. This man had, I think, 6 pieces. Yeah, 6 pieces that got destroyed. And he messaged me, and he was honest about it and everything. And I, you know, my policy is, I'm sending your shipping back. This gentleman, I don't want to name names because it's not important. But he's a good guy, stand-up guy. Talk to him all the time. He basically said, you know what, Richard, I took the chance, the 50-50 chance of buying it and having it sent, and you said it might not go. And he says, honestly, he says, I don't want my money back. He says, you know what, it's not, I took that chance. Like this, it's not an illegal deal or an immoral deal. It's just that I can't promise you that any kind of wood that's not, you know, treated or doing this, like I said, I mark it as art. So every other time, I've never had a problem. I guess that border guy who was on the American side was either doing his job or he just didn't like what he saw. Or maybe he wanted the cottonwood. That's what it is. Bastards. But anyway, no. It just turns out that he didn't get it. And honestly, he didn't want his money back. And I was like, that's pretty solid, because I know a lot of people who wouldn't do that. I, for one, I would have done that, because that's just who I am. If I have to take a chance on a product that I'm told it may not come back to me, I would have every good intention to say that, no, I took that chance with you, so, you know, I don't want my money back, because it's not the way it is. I can't replace the cottonwood. The border took it and they burnt it. So the sizes he wanted and the pieces he wanted are not coming back to me. And I don't have duplicates of that stuff. But on the other hand, because I'm Canadian, once I can drive again, which hopefully it's in the next couple of days, because I'm getting tired of this, I would like to try to send them out maybe a smaller parcel. Now, what I'm thinking, I'm going to see if this works. What I'm thinking is I clean it up. Like, I don't take all the front off anymore, but I clean it up fairly well. I'm thinking if I was to spray it, and spraying it, like I said before, with like a crystal sheeny kind of thing. See this thing? It's awesome. It's a little gun handle. Anyway, off topic. Maybe something like that. And if I just spray it, and I mark on it that it's been treated, it might get to him. And if it does get to him, I will definitely be sending him 6 pieces. But it might be in 2 pieces in a box kind of thing, right? That's the hardest thing, is to figure that one out. There's a company, and they are in BC, Canada, here, out in Canada, and they sell cottonwood. Now, I know they send them to the States, maybe even further. I'm not even sure, but I know they send them to the States. Now, I'm thinking I gotta email these guys and just try to get some information, because straight out, they may not, if I'm selling it, they may not say, yeah, we'll give you information. They just might say, you know what, we're not telling you shit. So I might just email them and say, I'm going to be honest, there's a friend that's looking for cottonwood, and he lives in the USA, and he's just wondering how it gets shipped to him, like what's the process of getting it shipped. Now, that's not being deceiving, is it? I don't think so. I'm thinking that's just trying to get some information off of people that may or may not want to give you that information, but they send it. So I don't know if how they send it, if they treat it, or if they have a special courier, or something that maybe the border doesn't really touch. Maybe they leave it. I don't know. The story behind it. Let me get to this part, and it makes me laugh because we both agreed to it. It sounded like crap. Let me put this down. I'm going to tell you a little story. The story behind it is that they opened it up, and when they sent him the box, actually there was a little, I did a little face, I did like one of these guys here, spirit face. And I sent that in the box, and it was a big box, 6 pieces, big box, right? They sent him that piece because it had the epoxy and it was sealed in it. They sent it to him. They just, in a box. They sent him that big box with it. They returned it. They told him, and this is where I don't get it, that there's a moth, a bug, a moth, whatever you want, that lives in the cottonwood. All right? It lives in the cottonwood. So in that order, even if it was protected, they can't, or not even if it was protected, they just could not ship it to them. They had to confiscate it. So I did a little research and I looked at it, and they had one part of it right. There is a moth that lives and burrows itself in cottonwood. I didn't send you guys cottonwood. I sent you the bark. And that's totally true. The bug actually will go, they'll find a gap and they'll go like underneath the bark and they'll go into the wood. They don't like the bark for some reason. They won't touch it. There's, I guess, the nutrients in the wood. Let me tell you, that to me is crap. So I think the guy wanted it for himself. Anyway, we're not going to say that. Let's get back to this. I am just going to clean up a bit, and then we're going to talk a little bit more, and then we're going to end the video, because that's part 2. All right, guys. Okay, guys. I jumped the gun by saying that was almost the end of the video. I forgot. The last step is to torch the rocks, so it gives it a deeper color. So what we got is, I think that's like a nylon or something like that. I don't know where the hell I got that from. It's a scraper and that, but anyway, it works great. So all we do is we're going to turn on our torch. Don't put it on high. It doesn't have to be high. And then don't burn your nose. And we're just going to lightly touch the rocks. Try to get into the undersides of it, so it's like a shadow. Oop, you can't see that. That's all we're going to do, is we're just going to lightly hit them up a bit. You want to get them at all the angles that you can. Don't burn the piece. Spit test. Yeah, so if you go if you stay too long on a piece, you'll end up catching it on fire, eh? And you don't want to do that. So that's why we just kind of wiggle it around. And this also brings out the grain, and you'll see more as we're putting it together. You don't want to keep it lit, so you want to kind of brush it off. Now you got to do it slow, but fast enough to say you're not wanting to stay in one spot, right? That makes sense to you guys? And what this is going to do is it's also going to burn off all those little fuzzies that you couldn't sand very well. You can get in there properly. I mean, you could spend hours sanding, right? Anybody can do projects like that. Just sand, and it'd drive you nuts. Sometimes you over sand stuff and then you're like, oh crap, now what? Well, that's why I use the burning method. And like I said, you just want to get into those little cracks and corners, and it will give it like a shadowing effect, I guess you could say. That's what I said earlier. Okay, so then all we're gonna do is take our brush. We're just gonna slightly give it a sweep. That's just gonna tone it down in case there's something that's too dark. Because we're also putting paint on here, right, guys? So then what you do is get yourself a cloth or a paper towel. You can see you're taking off some of the black, I guess, the burnt, the char. Just lightly. You can even dampen your cloth if you really want to get more of it off. Kind of tone it down, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. And you're just going to wipe it off as little or as much as you want. Like I said, some areas are a little bit darker, some areas are not. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do the snake thing. I think I'm just going to leave it as a rock. Yeah, good as it is. I don't want to overdo it. I mean, it's not very visible anyway. It does look like a rock, so let's just leave it at that, eh, guys? I think so. It's what it is. All right, a couple of taps. So there you go, guys. Now we're gonna call this the end of the video, and this is the end of part 2. Part 3 will be airbrush, which I got something different to show you, something special for me and for you to watch. Yeah, after the painting, we're gonna put the nub on, and we're gonna put our epoxy on, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, so choose your own path. Stay tuned.